Hello, Panthers. Welcome to the KJLS PantherCast News Report. This is Max, and today I'm here with the J team, bringing you some news on this unique Halloween. Now, on to Amanda, with a report about the history of Halloween.
Hi guys, I'm Amanda with some Halloween history. When we think of Halloween, we think of bats, tombstones, pumpkins, ghosts, skeletons, and a lot more. Of course, Halloween has evolved from being a ritual to ward off ghosts, to going trick-or-treating with friends for candy, carving pumpkins, and dressing yourself and your pets up in costume. We all know that Halloween is a holiday celebrated on October 31st, but the meaning behind the date is more than just being the last day of October. The tradition of Halloween originated with the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, when people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. They wore costumes made of animal skins and animal heads to protect themselves from any spirits or ghosts that might come their way on that day. The Celts, which lived nearly 2,000 years ago, celebrated their new year on November 1st. The first day of November marked the end of the summer and the harvest, but it also marked the beginnings of a cold, dark winter, which was the time of year that the Celts associated with death. The Celts believed that the night before New Year, which was October 31st, was the time that the ghosts of the dead returned to Earth. Over the centuries, the festival of Samhain started to change. After the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of Celtic territory, two of the Roman festivals were combined with the Samhain tradition. For instance, the Romans had a day where they celebrated Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. This may have explained the activity bobbing for apples that we do today. The influence of Christianity had also spread into Celtic lands, and they started celebrating All Hallows, which began to be called All Hallows Eve and eventually Halloween. In the second half of the 19th century, America was flooded with new immigrants. These new immigrants, especially the millions of Irish fleeing the Irish potato famine, helped popularize the celebration of Halloween nationally. Now, America had been introduced to the new holiday, Halloween. Over the years, parents were encouraged to take anything frightening out of Halloween, making the original tradition lose most of its superstitious and religious overtones. It became a fun holiday, and Halloween parties started to become very popular all over America. Between 1920 and 1950, the centuries-old practice of trick-or-treating was also revived. Trick-or-treating was a relatively inexpensive way for an entire community to share the Halloween celebration. All the way from wearing animal skins and warding off ghosts to dressing up in costumes and decorating houses, Halloween has changed throughout history. Halloween is now a holiday that many people celebrate, handing out candy at their door or going door to door in costumes receiving candy. Halloween throughout the ages is definitely a lot different now, but it is now a fun tradition that anybody can celebrate. And now, back to the anchor.
Thanks for that fascinating report, Amanda. Halloween certainly has a long and interesting history. Now, on to Christine, with some news about how people are celebrating this Halloween differently.
Hey Panthers, this is Christine Knowlton of J Team. Today, I'm here with my neighbor Nancy Peterson, and we're going to be talking about some cool plans for Halloween. And I'm here in my Halloween costume, and I'm really excited for Halloween even though coronavirus is still happening. Okay. So, Halloween is definitely going to be very different this year. So, what kinds of plans do you have for your neighborhood?
one of my neighbor girls, Maria, said to me, "Are we going to be able to trick or treat this year during coronavirus?" I said, "Boy, I don't know about that." And then my godson, Julian, said to me separately, "Do we get to have Halloween this year?" And I said, "Oh, sweetie, I'm just not sure." So Maria and Julian kept asking me these questions, and I thought, well, let's try to figure something out. And so the idea that we came up with, I was working with Julia and his sisters and parents, who are my wonderful neighbors. And we came up with an idea for a safe Halloween, a safe, fun Halloween. So it's definitely a scaled down Halloween. So for our street in Palo Alto, which includes a cul-de-sac, we're going to have some houses that are willing put their trees out either at the end of their driveways, either on tables, or maybe have the trunk of their car opened up and treats will be there. And we're going to have a group of the neighbor kids who will all be, they'll be in costume, and they'll have on masks for safety, and they'll keep some distance. Just go up and take a tree off of the table or out of the car. And so we hope to have between like 8 and 12 different homes that they can go to. I know there's some of the homeowners don't want people coming. They just don't want to take the risk. But others are thinking, yeah, it's going to be fine for me just to put some things out at the end of the driveway, along with some hand sanitizer for the kids. So the kids in the neighborhood, we're going to create a list for them of the houses that they can go to, and off they'll go. And we're hoping it will be a half an hour or more of great fun on Halloween night.
So how are you really going to plan this? Is there a special person who has all the emails, like a neighborhood coordinator?
Well, actually, what we're going to do, we talked to the neighborhood coordinator, but we think it's really better for us to work through the relationships that we have. And so my neighbors, the Knowltons, are going to be in touch with some of their children's friends, their parents. And I'm in touch with some of the people who live like next to me or further down the street for how they want to approach things. And then we'll just aggregate that email list and that address list together. So we want to make sure we know how many kids we're going to have. Is it going to be 12 kids? Is it going to be 15 or 16 kids? So the neighbors can have enough treats for everyone just to set out for them. So it's really Aaron and Lula Knowlton and me working together to get all this sorted out. And what's really pretty fantastic about it is that I've just had conversations with, I call them the Knowlton girls in the family, and then also with their parents, Aaron and Lula. But for Aaron and Lula, it's all just been by text. We actually have had one conversation in passing on the street, and other than that, we've just been texting. So we're doing virtual planning, and so far it's coming together pretty well. So that the kids just take an appropriate amount of candy or treats. We will have some adult supervisors along the way, and we'll be encouraging them both for social distancing and for safety, and also so they'll take the right amount of candy. So I'll be going along, and then a friend of mine and his fiance are going to come, and I'm hoping they'll help us with the adult supervisor role. So I think we're going to be, we're going to be as careful as absolutely possible on such an exciting night as Halloween is.
Thanks, Nancy. That sounds like a really cool plan. It's really fun to know that some neighborhoods are still going through with Halloween, even when coronavirus is still around. This has been Christine of J-Team. Now back to Max.
That was really cool, Christine. People are getting very creative in ways to celebrate Halloween, all while following CDC guidance. Now, on to Charlie, where we're going to learn how to make candy apples.
KJLS, I'm Charlie Cohen with KJLS PantherCast, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make caramel apples. Okay, so here are the ingredients that you'll need, and here are the tools that you'll need, and this is what it looks like when it's all done, well, when you've set out all the ingredients. Alright, so we're going to put all these ingredients, so we're going to put the sugar and all this, so the corn syrup, cream, salt and butter, all in a pot. And we're going to put the pot on the stove at medium heat. And you just want to stir it consistently until the butter is melted. Alright, so now that all the butter's melted, what we can do is we can take out the spoon, you can stop stirring for now, and let it cook until it reaches about 240 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you have a candy thermometer, you should use that and stick it in, clip it on, but make sure to not let the end of the thermometer touch the bottom of the pan, because it makes inaccurate readings. But as you can see, it's at about 180 degrees Fahrenheit right now. So we want to leave it until it reaches 235, and that will mean it's ready. 235, 240, that's good. Alright, so it's reached about the temperature, 235 to 240 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to turn off, put it onto a cool burner. And now, right away, we're going to take the vanilla, half teaspoon of vanilla. And we're going to put that in. And then get a spoon and just lightly mix in. You don't want to do too much, you just want to mix in the vanilla a bit. Nice. And now we're going to let it cool for about 10 to 15 minutes, but it might take up to 25-30 minutes. Really all depends. So let's let it cool down. Alright, so now that the caramel's all cooled and we have the apples here, and you want to put a stick in here, so some sort of popsicle stick or whatever, that works, and make sure they're perfectly dry, so you cannot have water on it, otherwise the caramel won't stick. Then I have some rainbow sprinkles and some chocolate and vanilla sprinkles to dip them in. So what we're going to do, we're going to get an apple by the stick, we're going to stick it in the caramel and sort of swirl it around, and try and get as much of that apple covered in the caramel. Sort of dip it off, and now we're just going to roll it in the topping. And then place it on the mat. And now we're going to do the same with the other one. Alright, so now that they're all dipped, we're going to let them sit for about 45 minutes to an hour. Let them all cool off and have the caramel harden. Just leave them like that. Don't put them in the fridge or anything and leave them. Alright, so now that we've let them sit, we have these wonderful candy apples. And pull them off the plate, and as you can see, beautiful. Very nice. So these are the ones with the sprinkles on them. These ones with the rainbow sprinkles, very beautiful. And that is caramel apples. They're really yummy. And bon appetit. And that is how to make caramel apples. This has been Charlie from KJLS PantherCast. Now back to the anchor.
Those candy apples look delicious, Charlie. It was really fun watching and learning how to make them. This has been the KJLS PantherCast News Report. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to come back next week. Remember, Panthers, make it a great day, or not, the choice is yours.